I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on today's supermodel video. And I say supermodel video because this is 1934 that we're talking about. We're doing this video in 2025 where we're 90 years old, approaching the 100-year-old mark here. I want you to think about that for a second. Take that in. 100 years ago, no internet, no cell phone, no microwave oven, no color TV, no of today's modern things is why this car is so fabulous. When you look at it, you're going like, oh my God, that thing is incredible, right? And I say, you know what? You're absolutely right. But what you haven't done yet is gone around and seen all of the little things that make these cars spectacular. These are hand-built, handmade, one by one, in such spectacular fashion that I've spent a lot of time just sitting in it, staring at stuff. All of the pieces that are there, furniture grade wood, right? This beautiful tri-tone paint, the wire wheels that are 16-inch and color matches. I mean, it goes on and on. The special headlights. We're going to get into all of that stuff. Why is this particular Packard the right Packard for you? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the quality of paint. We're going to get inside. We're going to see all of the advanced features that made Packard so far ahead of everybody else. And then you know what we are going to do? We're going to go for a drive. And I can't wait for us to wheel it down the road. I'm super excited for that. Let's get started. All right, so all the time people say, Tone, that is a beautiful car, but we really don't know why it's a beautiful car. Well, in the case of this particular Packard 8, this is a beautiful car because of the great color combination and the fact that it's, while amongst other supermodels in here, no car looks like this car when it's going down the road. However, let's look at some of the things that make for these vehicles to be more beautiful than others. For instance, look at this headlight. The size alone of this headlight is fabulous. These are the correct solar headlights on here. The dual horns are behind here. This car has a lot of advancements, right? Turn signals were not super popular on every car back in the day. This right here, handmade shell, but this Flying Goddess of Speed. How cool is the name Flying Goddess of Speed? Are you kidding me? Like, how do I get that as my web address online? The Flying God of Speed, whatever. Anyway, the paint on here, Ascot Maroon. Sorry I had to look at it because it was so many different things. I was getting so excited about it. Ascot Maroon, Claret Red, and Tuxedo Black, right? Three-tone paint. It's why this car pops the way it does, is because you're watching the car go from lighter to darker to darker. You see how that all works together like that? The wire wheels look so good because they're painted. The big wide whites are there. These Firestone tires. The tires alone for this, right, are almost $2,000. So look at the level of restoration that you're getting, all the detail and things like that. And then if you would, we'll come up here and let's look at the quality of the paint. And I'd like to show you that real quick because that, my friends, is great. When you're looking at a paint, I want you to not look at the paint. I want you to look in the paint. And what does that mean, Tone? Well, what it means is this. Look in the paint at the ceiling, at the lights, at the ribs of the ceiling. Look at the words that are on this piece of paper, how clear they are. The crisper and clearer they are, the shinier and the better the paint is. Here, we'll even do it right here. Just beautiful. All right, so you're going to go to a car show. You may go to a Cars and Coffee. Like, they've never seen anything like this. They're going to want you to open the hood, and you're going to want to open the hood, and you're going to want to show off what you have here. 320 cubic inch straight 8-cylinder engine, circa 1934, right? And it is heavy duty. It is heavy. It makes great torque and power. Detailed beautifully under here with all the tags and wires and correct cloth covered some of the wiring there from back in the day. The actuation of things like the suspension that you can do and the brakes. We're going to get inside there. You can adjust all of those things for different rides. Back in the day where we might have a sports suspension today, they already had that adjustment back then. You wanted more braking when you put it in Sport Plus mode. In your BMW, they already had it back then. I mean, that's how far ahead all of this was. And then the radiator is super big, so it can cruise for days on the highway. They ride beautifully. They really were designed to carry wealthy people in the back. I like driving them because they just drive great. And then once we get inside, I'll show you all the cool stuff that's in there. But I just thought that this was so beautifully done, and you'd be so proud just to open it up and show it off. So I want to spend this time back here for just a moment because while you may know lots about this car, I want you to think about what 1934 is, right? This is a grand touring sedan, meaning 4 doors. It's suicide doors, which makes it easy to get in and out. And it's a convertible, which is a very difficult car to build unless you build a super strong structure around it. It was designed to go far, right? And here we have this beautiful piece of luggage, right? You don't have to have it on here if you don't want to. It's kind of cool. I like it because it's functional and it works like it's supposed to. This right here, you undo these latches, okay? And this would fold down. You could get to all your clothes or get to whatever food you wanted to get, whatever. It was like a super extra great trunk space that was in there. Also too, if you don't want to have this here, you take it off, and then this platform here folds up, it gets out of the way. And before there were 5-mile-an-hour bumpers. Most people don't know what that means. 5-mile-an-hour bumpers was a law where if you got hit at 5 miles an hour, there'd be no visible damage to the structures of the bumpers inside. Well, if you look at these right here, these aren't fixed bumpers like most cars were. They had given thought to the simple fact that these need to give, so somebody could bump this and it didn't bend the bumper in half like you would on a normal car. These right here could have easily been just mounted right there, but these are beautiful pieces of art that come out, right? All of these little things I'm showing you are the reason why some cars are worth more than others, and some cars are more beautiful than others, and throw in hand pinstriping, separating the colors that are there, and it just keeps going and going. All right, so why is it suicide door so good? Well, because it just makes getting in easier instead of having to go all the way around and what have you. And then here, once you get in, I want you to see the room. Like, I'm 6'1", and like now I have the window up. I'm having a private conversation with my significant other or whatever. I'm saying to my broker, when it hits 100, sell. When it hits 100, sell, right? And then I say, you know what? I want some fresh air and what have you. And then I can roll the window down, which is working like it's supposed to. I got storage hidden underneath here in case I want maybe have a sip. Maybe a sip, I keep my sips under there. I'm not saying sips are mandatory, but there's nothing wrong with a sip in this cool car. All right, so this is also a driver's car, right? And what does that mean? Well, these cars were very, very ahead of their time. And I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? In here, you have a 120-mile-an-hour speedometer. You have a beautiful clock. You have full gauges for like oil pressure, fuel, amps, things like that. Now we move on to luxury things. Like this is real Bordeaux leather, okay? Leather everywhere. Furniture grade door caps that are there. Vacuum operated wiper motors, okay? And then over here, you have ride control, which can firm up the suspension, okay? Then you have the amount of braking that you choose. You can move from 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's already set there, right? That's really nice. You can advance the timing, do the throttle from here. Even the vents in the side are these beautiful. And you need to look at this stuff, man. I'm trying to tell you, this is just something you could never see again. There's like these beautiful polished mesh bezels, right? That are allowing fresh air to come into the car. Each person would get their own cubby locker right here, okay? You know what we could do? We could hide, if you wanted, a stereo inside there so you could have some music, keeping the dash all kind of cool. And I don't know if you decide to take up smoking, because it was all the rage back in the 30s. The ashtray's working just like it should. I can go on and on about this car. If you're looking at it, I'm telling you, it is that nice inside as it is outside. And just when I look down the hood and I see the goddess of speed there, pointing me in the right direction, I'm rolling on out. This is cool. This is, you know, today's modern car has a key or whatever and a starter button. That went away for a really long time, and now this is where it all came from. Easy start, easy run, and off I go. So interesting, this is approximately 80 years old this year, and while these are great on the highway and going straight down the road, I wanted to take you on a country road just so you could see how cool this is, that you could go anywhere in it. This is not just a museum piece, and it can be a museum piece if you wanted to, but I'm driving, wheeling this car. It's 2025, heading down the road, and this is fabulous. The comfort of the seat is nice. The gauges are spectacular. I love the way they look. They're just some kind of special. All right, and we're back cruising some more country roads. I'm watching the gauges. They're all working like a champ. The shifter's easy to do. I'm watching oil pressure rise and fall in between shifts. The dash itself is just beautiful with so many great gauges, and they're so elegant too. I'm looking at all this right here. We did a lot of walk around stuff, which was great, but until you get it out on the road, knowing you could take it to a car show, can you imagine going to a Cars and Coffee in this? How cool would that be? I don't know about you, but this is my first time driving a 1934 Packard out on the country roads, and this is a lot of fun. I'm smiling thinking, wow, what a great job I have. And thank you guys for riding with me today. It's really amazing. It goes down the road great. If you don't mind, hit the like button down below. That helps get our message out. Share with your friends. They might like to see something there too. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We got new stuff coming out all the time. And I'll see you on the next test drive. What a beautiful drive, was it not? Right? I mean, how cool was it, us going down the road? You can imagine everywhere we were, thumbs up. Oh my gosh, what is it? Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, where can I get it? All this stuff's going. It's just amazing how friendly this car makes people. They just think about a different time. And I go back to that, like, what was the 30s like? We're approaching the 100-year mark for this car. 100 years that this mechanical piece was crafted somewhere by hand, by people, and now is roadworthy still, right? Amazes me. The interior, fabulous, like luxury pieces inside. It's a beautiful Packard. Any collector, any first-time buyer, anybody would love to own it and have it in their garage. It makes me smile just thinking about it. It makes me smile.